The 2022 Hyundai Archery World Cup is back. Well, this is what it's all been building up to. Quality is impeccable so far.
There's twitching, there's nerves.
Oh, it's a brilliant, perfect score. Ella Gibson has got her first Hyundai Archery World Cup stage medal, and it's a gold one. Oh my goodness me, the bravery to hold on. Kim Jin-hee of Korea has taken the gold medal in Gwangju. She won in Antalya, she won in Paris, and now Ella Gibson has taken her third of a hat-trick of titles. The world circuit has travelled to Antalya, Gwangju, Paris and Medellin, but all roads have been leading to this. Welcome to Tlaxcala, welcome to Mexico, and welcome to the Hyundai Archery World Cup Final. We're here in Apollo Central Square on compound Saturday at these finals. Temperature slowly climbing to approximately 28 degrees later on today, but it's 17 at the moment. As you can see, the windsock is still. The conditions looking very good for some high scores. It's a really tight venue, well protected from the wind. And here's what we've got in this first live session for the finals. We have all four quarterfinals leading to the semis, and then the medal matches with the presentation of the medals a little before midday local time. 8 athletes qualified for the competition. Top and bottom seeds separated in the top and bottom of the order. That's Ella Gibson and Sarah Lopez. The 6 qualifiers come in along with the host nation place of Andrea Becerra in the third quarterfinal. But first up, it'll be Gibson versus Quintero. So a bit of home nation interest in the first quarterfinal. I'm Karen Bashir, and joining me for these finals, I'm pleased to say, former world #1 from Great Britain, Nikki Hunt. Nikki, Ella's already coming out. What a great start we've got to these finals.
Yeah, it really is. World #1, she's on form this year, shot incredibly well, so the story here really is, can she make it all the way through and meet Sarah in that final?
Are the athletes coming out here for their presentation to the crowd of 3,000.
Ella Gibson. On target number 2, representing Mexico, Daphne Quintero. The line judge for this match is Hussein Nasiri.
So breakthrough star of the season, Ella Gibson from Great Britain is 22 years old and the world #1. She won 3 stages of the Hyundai Archery World Cup, missing out, going to Gwangju in Korea to save money, going up against the only Mexican who's qualified for the finals in Daphne Quintero. There is Gibson. Bit of pressure on her, perhaps tough for Ella, perhaps going up against the only host nation qualified athlete, Nikki?
Yeah, it may well be. And did you hear the roar of the crowd? It's going to be quite an atmosphere there.
Here we go, quarterfinal 1 of the Hyundai Archery World Cup Finals on compound Saturday. 5 ends of archery, 3 arrows per archer per end, with the score building to a maximum of 150.
Yes.
So Ella just making an adjustment on her sight, started off a little bit low, straight into the X there now, but we see a few nerves so far, as to be expected.
Yes.
She knew that one was going low, didn't she? 29 plays 29, and well, pretty close to dropping out into the 8.
Yeah, it was a really low shot. Not quite sure why. I think she might be pointing to her watch just then, to her coach, and perhaps around her heart rate or something that was going on while she's shooting those 3 arrows, but looking fairly relaxed.
Yeah, to talk about nerves, and we were talking about it in the archery show, that when you've competed at this competition, do you feel those nerves early on, or does it build as you go through the match?
I think everyone's different of how they manage it, really. Like funny enough, my first arrow would always be fairly calm, and actually it would build and get more nervous through the match. So, yeah, it's all down to their preparation, everything they've gone to this point, and then just trying to stick to that plan.
I've got Mexico's equivalent of the Vuvuzela in the crowd. As you can see, really tight, packed up against this City Hall building in Tlaxcala, central eastern Mexico, for those of you that like your geography. Gibson and Quintero tied at 29 apiece as we go into the second end.
Yes!
Just got a shot there of those flags down the bottom of the range, just a little bit fluttering, but they do show quite a lot. We're not actually that windy in this venue.
Dropping to another 29, just 1 point down. Opportunity here for Quintero. Ooh, held on to that one for a bit longer, but she's put it in to the 10 for a 30. So she sneaks 1 point into the lead. Look, we talk a little bit about Ella Gibson this season, winning the 3 World Cups that she attended, plus the World Games, has really put a marker in the ground this season, and the rivalry between her and Lopez, quite incredible. Does that mean there's a bit of pressure on her here?
Oh, definitely. She came into that first World Cup this season. I think her goal this year was to get into the top 10. She's overseeded everything she planned this year. Went out and won the first one. She didn't attend the second due to how much it cost to get there. Started saving money. She went out to the World Games. She won that as well. So she's on this massive high, and everyone's now talking about Ella Gibson. That is going to present some pressure, and I think she's going to feel that more. That last arrow for me, she looked quite nervous. You could see some movements and shaking, but I expected to be nervous. It's just a huge event that everyone wants to win.
Yeah, both of them making their debuts at the World Cup finals as well. Quintero on home soil with the home crowd behind her, and perhaps with no pressure on her at all, because the expectation will be that Gibson will win this quarterfinals. But the points now show you that Quintero really has a chance. Gibson now shooting to start the third end.
Yes! Yes!
See right in the front of that bow there, that piece of thread hanging from Ella's long rod, that's to give her a bit of wind indication to see if there's any wind hitting her, around her. Just seemed to be a tiny little flutter, doesn't there, in there?
Yeah, very small. It's a sheltered range. Slap bang in the centre of town. And we were expecting big scores, and that is just what we've got here. So first perfect 30 for Gibson. wonder how the nerves are building with Daphne Quintero.
Yes, yes.
She gets a perfect as well. So that 1 point lead grabbed in the second end remains after the third. And look at them, they're looking really relaxed, the Mexican pair, smiling, laughing. But to be fair, the Brits also looking quite calm and relaxed. But how much will that pressure start to build in Quintero? Can we expect it to be perfect through to the end here?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think she felt that comfortable with that last shot, actually. She looked a little bit, not sure if it's going to go in. I think she came back to a coach there and we saw her signalling, like just going through that execution of the shot. You saw that backhand sort of going through from release and into the follow through. So she's almost going to be working on that a little bit, thinking about that just to try and get these normal shots. Execution, seeing a lovely slow-mo here. That backhand just goes around the neck. But I didn't think she was that happy with that shot. So let's see, can she keep this together now?
You see in the pictures, she didn't look happy with the shot, as you said, and then sees the result. A sense of relief for all to see. Ooh, look, it was in the 10. Brilliant stuff. So we go into the fourth and penultimate end. Gibson trailing by a single point to shoot first.
Yes.
How much pressure is Quintero feeling here? Well, potentially going for a score. I think the sunlight there was just giving us a little bit of difficulty seeing where that had gone.
Yes.
I feel like the momentum now is back with Ella. She's looking more and more confident through this match. I think Quintero, for me, is looking a little bit more unsure.
You called it.
Yes.
So that's a second 30 in a row for a 118. Huge pressure on this arrow. She needs this one to go in the 10, but look at the movement.
Yes.
She does get it into the 10, so a 28 provisionally, so a 2 point swing, but this could be all square here if that first arrow is marked up to a 10. Nikki, it's very difficult for us to see, wasn't it? The light shining on the target, the angle of the cameras. That first arrow, though, could potentially get marked up.
It could, yeah. It was so difficult with it, like you say, the sun shining on there. So we'll have to wait for the judge to make a decision. They'll go in with their magnifying glass and decide, you know, is it touching the line? But it's an important point.
Yeah, it certainly is. Gibson, as you say, looking very relaxed there on the right, just checking the arrows that have come back from the agent. We didn't get to see the call from the judge. I think it may well have been marked down, so that 117 is what Quintero is on. It is a 2 point swing, and Gibson from Great Britain, one of the favourites for the title, has come from behind. 3 more arrows to go. Quintero to shoot first in the 5th.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, right in the centre.
Yes.
That's all Quintero can do, isn't it? Put down big scores to try and keep the pressure on Gibson.
Yeah, she's got to. We've had the switch now where Quintero's shooting first, so Ella's going to have the last arrow of the match here. So the more pressure Quintero can put on her opponent, the better.
So finishes with a 30 with a great score, 147, just dropping 3 points. But a 9 to draw level, a 10 for a win and a place in the semi-finals. Gibson puts it into the 10. There's no doubt there was a bit of a nervy start from Ella Gibson, who's put huge amounts of pressure on herself by winning 3 of the stages this season, but she came through that and looked very strong in taking Quintero by a single point, 148 to 147. Ella Gibson into the semi-finals. Going up first in the first match of the World Cup finals on the first day, even there you could see that she felt jittery, didn't she? And there was certainly nerves on the other side as well.
Yeah, and she looked at it, but I'd be worried if they weren't looking a bit nervous. You know, this is like one of the biggest things you can do in archery, and to come here and win a World Cup final puts you in the history books. And yeah, they've got to be nervous, but they've got to control it and deal with it as well.
So that's the first one done, and it's Ella Gibson from Great Britain taking the first victory, booking her place into the semi-finals here in Tlaxcala. We take a look back over the match. Gibson starting off with a 9, but then started to drill the middle of the target. Quintero started confidently, but just dropped a couple of points in the 4th end. You can see the nerves building, a little bit of movement in that back arm for both of the athletes. And a perfect 30 to finish things off and make our way through to the semi-finals. Well, the coaches and judges are out for the second quarterfinal.
And now, please welcome the athletes to the field of play for the Quarterfinal women's quarterfinal match.
And here they come. Alejandra Usquiano from Colombia will take on Tanja Gellenthien from Denmark. Let's go down to the field of play for their introductions here in Tlaxcala.
On target number 1, representing Colombia, Alejandra Usquiano. On target number 2, representing Denmark, Tanja Gellenthien. The line judge for this match, Hussein.
So we've got 29-year-old Colombian, Alejandra Usquiano, world number 8, going up against a 27-year-old Tanja Gellenthien from Denmark, who's the world number 7. So a really tight matchup between these two. Usquiano, former world champion, but been overshadowed by her teammate Sarah Lopez over the past few years, but was the athlete that started archery's Mexican wave. And it will be the Colombian to get the second quarterfinal underway. What a start from the Colombian. No nerves there, Nikki.
Not at all. I mean, she's so experienced. She's been here before. She's won the World Cup finals back in 2013, a long time ago, but she knows what she's doing. I think she's going to have the home support here as well.
Yeah, but Gellenthien also getting it into the centre of the target. 4th finals for Usquiano, and yeah, very composed on the shooting line. It's the 3rd finals for Tanja Gellenthien. A silver in 2017 and a bronze last time out in Yankton. She's also the European champion, Gellenthien. But dropping into the 9s. Oh, just a magical start from Alejandra Usquiano.
Really strong. Quick shot.
2 9s for Gellenthien though. not looking so comfortable. And there's Martin Damsbo in the box for Gellenthien.
Yeah, fantastic archer in his own right. I've had so many great archers come through Denmark over the years. Quite unusual for quite a small country, but they just seem to produce excellent archers.
Yeah. Gellenthien, though, based in the United States of America now.
Yeah, she's married Braden Gellenthien.
Take a look back over a brilliant start from Usquiano. I mean, that first arrow, right in the centre of the target.
Yeah, she means business, doesn't she? A trademark high five to the coach at the end of those 3 arrows.
And in a different half to the draw to her teammate, Sarah Lopez. So, could conceivably be an all-Colombian final. We're a long way from that, though. Not the best start from Gellenthien at this level. I mean, at 28, it's not a bad score, of course, but when you're up against someone who's going to start with a perfect 30. Tricky stuff. Matthias Fullerton, who's going to be competing in this competition, acting as the Danish agent, pulling the arrows for his teammate. Now, the way Usquiano is shooting at the moment, you've got to think that Gellenthien's got to get off to a flyer here in the second.
Just doesn't look very comfortable. She had such an incredible year last year. She made the Final Four a few times, but hasn't been as good this year. I mean, she still made the top 8 in the world to come to this final, but not settling in well. She's got a huge trigger on that back of that release aid.
Yes.
Yeah, both the athletes qualified by ranking for this World Cup final.
Yes.
Another 28. Bit of movement, but doesn't affect the final score. 2 perfect 30s from the Colombian, and looking very strong. Gellenthien, though, it doesn't look like nerves are the issue. What do you think? Or do you think it's nerves?
I think there are nerves. Yeah, I do, and I think what's interesting about Tanya's technique is her shots are very different in the timing of them. So by that I mean how long she's at full draw for. Sometimes she'll be there a few seconds and the shot will go off. Have you noticed other shots? Bam, gone. And I wonder whether, you know, they're being triggered almost accidentally, if you like, a bit consciously. Their brain's just taken over and setting them off. I don't know. Just my thoughts. Usquiano's shooting a back tension release, so you see her thumb come away and she's just pushing and pulling until that shot breaks. So very different in their techniques, these two archers. Here we see the classic high five. And the coach has to put some training in for those.
Well, it's working. Usquiano leading by 4 points now. Nice view down the range from behind Tanya Gellenthien. Start of the third. Gellenthien into the middle of the target.
Yes.
So see that thumb coming onto the release aid at the back. You can see a little bit nervousness. She knew that was going to go there. You saw that front arm just pull over to try and get it back, but it had gone. Whereas Usquiano, that thumb's off at the back there, and she's just pushing and pulling.
Yes. Yes.
So 28 provisionally could get marked up to a 29 because that second arrow is going for a measure. We staying perfect here. Very, very confident looking Alejandra Usquiano. I wonder what's going through Tanya Gellenthien's mind. If there are nerves, they're only being, she's not showing it visually in her face.
No, I think she's good at maintaining a pretty neutral face, but you can see sort of the shaking at full draw. I don't know, I think you're probably standing up there thinking, why can't I just shoot those nice shots that I normally shoot in training, in practice?
Well, just seeing there that Gellenthien's 8's being marked up to a 9, so that's a 29 for her, which is her best score so far. That pushes her just another point down on Alejandra Usquiano. But she looks, the thing about Gellenthien, it looks like she's curious as to what you already talked about, you know, the time at full draw is different. Now we can see that, but she doesn't look like she knows why things aren't working. It's
the mental side for me. Like, her technique is good, but mentally, it's all what's going on. And that's what I mean about the timing of the shots. Some of them are quick and gone, and others are slightly longer. That's not what we want to see at high level. We want to see consistency in that timing every single time.
So when you say it's what's going on in her head, what is she thinking about? What she's having for dinner tonight, or?
No, she's probably thinking,
is this going in the tail?
Flippin' heck, I'm in the World Cup final here, and all these people are watching me. These cameras are going off, and it's huge.
Yeah, and if it starts to go wrong, that can make things worse. Gellenthien shooting first, 5 down on Usquiano in end number 4.
Yes. Yes.
You don't need a stopwatch to see to time the difference in how long Gellenthien's at full draw. First drop point for Usquiano though. So, yeah, 28. First drop point from Usquiano, but still 119 and leading by 6 points because Gellenthien dropped 2 9s. And again, at this point, does she know it's gone?
Gellenthien, yeah, you know, to come back from 6 points now in the last end of the match, I think it would be highly unlikely. It would need a miss from Usquiano.
It would need a big mistake, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it really would. So, you know, you want to be out here, you want to utilise this time you've got on this big stage, you want to still go out there and shoot the best arrows you can, because you can still learn from this. You can still look back on it and think, okay, well, actually I sorted it out towards the end and that's how I want to shoot. So it's important for her to come back and just run through a process, shoot those normal shots, get this right.
We look at Usquiano here and just dropping her first point of the match with her second arrow, but then following it up with another 10. Not only is this great for her for this match, but it's going to put the others under some pressure here. The winner of this match will face the winner of the first quarterfinal. Start of the 5th. Gellenthien down by 6.
9 posible 10.
You can hear the coach in the background just talking her through those shots as well. They know the process, they know the program. Same every time.
Yes.
So finishing with 142 out of 150. Just drifting out to the left. Marked as a provisional 148 for Usquiano. She started so strong, so confidently, and, well, whether it was nerves or doubts in her process, it wasn't the day for Tanya Gellenthien, was it?
No, not at all. She'll be disappointed with that, but like I say, she'll learn from it. She'll come back, but really impressed with Alejandra Usquiano. This is going to be a match. You know, she's going to be against Ella Gibson. They just scored 148 each on those first two quarterfinals. This is going to be a tough one. Usquiano's on this. She is like, she wants to make this final. She's done it before, 2013.
Yeah, it's not. This is not going to be an easy ride. The first semi-final. We've been through two of the quarterfinals and seen Gibson beating Quintero, and now Usquiano defeating Gellenthien. Nikki, we take a look back over the match. Usquiano started really strongly, didn't she?
Yep, she did all the way through, you know, just dropping 2 points in the last two ends, whether it was a little bit of, I don't know, loss of concentration almost, because she was just so far ahead. The pressure kind of came off her, but, you know, she's a great competitor.
Well, getting the applause from coach and, as you said, Nikki, support from the crowd. Tricky one for Gellenthien, but a warm congratulations to her opponent at the end. So Usquiano through, Gibson through. Great Britain and Colombia have representation in the compound women's semi-finals here in Tlaxcala at the finale of the season. Mini pause in proceedings. We've rattled through the first two quarterfinals, and as you can see, the sun is starting to shine a little bit brighter as we prepare for quarterfinal number 3. The athletes and the coaches and the officials coming out for this third quarterfinal, which will feature Estonia's first ever qualifier for this final, going up against the host nation pick. This is Jaatma from Estonia taking on Andrea Becerra from Mexico, and the crowd will be right behind the Mexican. Let's go down to the field of play for the introductions.
On target number 1, representing Estonia, Jaatma. On target number 2, representing Mexico, Andrea Becerra. The line judge for this match, Hussein Nasiri.
So Jaatma, the first Estonian to qualify for the Hyundai Archery World Cup Finals, and in the box for her is Mum Marika. She got an individual stage bronze this season. That's a 2016 Euro Youth silver medalist. Andrea Becerra at a second consecutive finals. Got a World Championship bronze in 2021 and was the 2019 Universiade champion. It will be Jaatma from Estonia, the 23-year-old world number 9, to get the quarterfinals underway.
Yes.
You can see that she's trying to control those nerves and perhaps hide them as well.
Yes.
Both these archers just looking quite nervous, aren't they? Just going to try and settle into this match. Quite a lot of noise going on there as well.
All high from Jaatma. Uh-oh.
Yes.
Oh, how did she pull that off? The count got down to 6. 6 seconds left to go for Becerra, but you're right. Nerves are for all to see here in this matchup.
I think this is going to be an interesting one, if I'm honest.
It really, the pair of them look super nervous. I don't think I've seen Jaatma looking this nervous.
Yeah, I mean, I think she had some twitchy moments. Was it this year or last year now? She's been up on the senior circuit and she's shooting that back tension. You see the thumb coming off the peg and her going for it. So I can't remember if she was shooting. I think she might have been shooting a trigger before, you know. Can't remember now, but they've both just got to stick to the process now and just try and calm themselves as much as they can.
Yeah, Becerra, despite the nerves, shot a perfect 30, so it will be Jaatma to shoot first in the second end. So all high in the first end. The first one going low in the second for the Estonian.
Yes.
He's certainly got the backing of the home crowd.
Knew it was going to go down there, tried to pull it back. Sometimes you can make a slight influence on where it's going to go, but the speed of these arrows coming out the bow is so quick, around 300 feet a second on a compound.
Solid start from Becerra, a 29 following the 30, puts her 5 points ahead. This has been a really shaky start from Miss Jaatma, a really shaky second end as well.
Yeah, you know, it's a lot of points to drop. She's made it pretty tough for herself now, trying to get back into this match again, so she'll just have to put that behind her, try and imagine she's starting again. Do the best she can to try and put some pressure back on Becerra, but it's interesting. She's got this back tension. She reminds me a little bit of Braden Gellenthien, the way she's got that little finger on the very top of the release aid. So Becerra there shooting the trigger, thumb wrapped around as she goes for that execution, and then Jaatma just slightly different in the position of that little finger and back tension release aid.
3 high arrows from Jaatma in the first end, 3 low and wider grouping as well in the second end. She's going to shoot first in the third, trailing by 5 points.
Yes.
She looks a little bit surprised by that, happy that it had hit the 10.
See, the wind's just picked up a little bit.
It can be really difficult as well shooting next to a building like this because you don't feel the wind really coming so much, and it kind of swirls around, funnels through gaps.
Yes.
Reacts quite differently as if you're out on an open field.
That's a confidence-boosting third arrow for Jaatma. 29 for Becerra. So a 6-point lead now provisionally, unless that second arrow gets marked up. Jaatma's had a shaky start, but that last arrow looked pretty solid. When you look at Becerra, is it me, or does it feel like she's on the brink of throwing one into the 6?
She does look nervous. You know, it almost looked like on that last arrow whether she was almost kind of leaning towards the target and that back elbow was sort of coming forward, which is like when you're under pressure, sometimes we call it you get a bit soft, you know, rather than keeping on that back wall. Compounds have like a back wall as those cams you can see at the top of the bow, little black wheels, spin over, you get to the back of the wall and it stops. But sometimes under pressure you're just going to get a bit soft and things start to come off, so let's see if she can maintain it. She's got the ability to, but she is looking a little bit under tension.
She certainly is. And, but the thing is, surely, I know you're not supposed to be thinking about your opponent, but with Jaatma in a whole world of pain, not starting so well, doesn't that boost your confidence somewhat?
It can do, but on the other hand, you try not to think about your opponent as much as possible. She was still disappointed with that 9 she shot in the last arrow.
So Jaatma gets the 4th end underway and is into the 10.
Yes. Yes.
So suddenly Jaatma is dialed into the centre. You have to say she's probably looking for an error from Becerra. But if anything, Becerra looks the most confident that she has throughout the match.
Yes, yes, yes.
First perfect from Jaatma.
Yes, yes, yes.
And it's a perfect, her second from Becerra. So the 6-point lead remains intact as we look towards the 5th end here. It seems the pair of them have settled at almost exactly the same time.
Yeah, 4th end in, I suppose they're just feeling a little bit more relaxed. Maybe Jaatma's thinking, well, hey, I've dropped a lot of points here. I can just kind of try and settle these nerves and just do my normal thing. Both chatting to their coaches a little bit around what's going on. Nice shot to see the follow through. I'll just look into the right immediately because that's where the big screen is. I can see where their arrows have landed.
So 118 for Becerra, 112 for Jaatma. Jaatma will shoot first in the 5th end. And this is a big ask. She needs a good score and she needs Becerra basically to miss the target with one of her arrows.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Going a little bit low, aren't they? Just making an adjustment. But better grouping.
Well, she's got space to drop a point or two.
Yes, yes,
Well,
yes.
making her debut at the Hyundai Archery World Cup Finals, Jaatma finishes with a 142 in her first quarterfinal. And another 9 for a 28 for Becerra, but it's more than enough. A 146 from her sees her go through to the semi-finals here, subject of course to confirmation from the judges, but don't really see anything changing too much there. Nikki, really nervy. My heart rate went up a little bit during that match, and for different reasons than perhaps we were expecting.
Yeah, they're both quite young archers, 22 years old. They haven't had years and years of experience out here, and certainly with the hiatus we've had, they've missed out on some opportunities where they would have been under pressure probably in the last couple of years. So, like I say, this is one of the biggest events, especially a target archer can ever go to. So, you want to win it. It's a big thing. There's going to be nerves.
So we take a look back over the match. Jaatma came in and looked very nervous. First 3 arrows high, second 3 arrows low, and then it kind of stayed low from there on. Becerra seemed to me on the brink of a disaster any moment in the 15 arrows she shot, but somehow comes away dropping just 4 points. Does that happen very often?
I mean, it's the level she's at, and technically she's a great archer. It's just a mental game right now under this pressure. So whoever she's going to face, we're going to find out just now, is going to be a great competitor. These next two coming up are two great archers, so she's going to have to up her game in that semi-final.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the coaches and judges to the
as you
field
said,
play.
Nikki, we've got one more quarter-final to go, and judge and coaches out. What a matchup we've got. Sara Lopez, who's had a little wobble this year, you have to say. Even she's admitted that things have not been going great mentally for her. It looks like she's starting to get back to her very best, but the toughest of draws, the only other world champion in the field, Kim Yoon-hee of Korea, was drawn against her just 24 hours ago. Here they come. Let's go down to the range for the athlete introductions.
On target number 1, representing Korea, Kim Yoon-hee. On target number 2, representing Colombia, Sara Lopez. The line judge for this match, Hussein Nasiri.
Kim Yoon-hee, 28 years old, world number 13, making her debut at these World Cup finals. Was a stage winner in Gwangju on home soil. That's how she qualified for this one. Was the 2015 world champion. She goes up against Sara Lopez, the world number 2 from Colombia, is 27 years old. This is her 8th finals. An 11 times stage winner. 6 times Hyundai Archery World Cup final champion. It will be Lopez to get the quarterfinal underway.
Yes.
Wow, quite a long hold. Then you get 20 seconds to shoot the arrow. And Sara has been known to shoot quite quickly sometimes in these scenarios, which could put some pressure on her.
Yes.
Well, Kim Yoon-hee used the sighter well.
Yes.
But solid looking performance from Sara Lopez for a 30. That looks like it's dropped into the 9 for a 28. Well, look, Lopez may not have won a stage this season, but she shot a world record at the last stage in Medellin, hitting form at just the right time.
The match is over, but can she do this? Yes, she can! That is a perfect 150. Sara Lopez is back.
So yeah, we just saw that 150 she shot in the bronze medal match in Colombia, the last stage this year. 11 X's made it the new world record.
And she started here phenomenally well as well, looking very strong.
Yeah, she will be. I mean, Sarah Lopez, the last 10 years, she's pretty much been world number 1 over that time. She's one of the greatest ever archers in this sport. Yes, she's dipped to number 2 in the world, and Ella Gibson's come out of nowhere just to take that title off her, but she will be determined to get this win.
Yeah, she looked really very solid at the start of that. It's not just the score, though, is it? You always talk about process execution. She looked absolutely dominant. Leads the way, Kim Yun-hee dropping 2 points in that first end. Will shoot first in the second. Well, as you can see, the measure went in her favour. She only dropped a single point there and starts this second end with 10.
Yes.
Looks pretty nervous, and there it goes out into the 8.
Yes. Yes.
She didn't look happy with that last arrow, and you can see why. But it's that second one from Kim Yun-hee that's opened up the door, and you talked about the nerves, Nikki. That really got to her, didn't she? She knew that was going low.
For Sarah going low, or for,
no, for Kim.
Yeah, for Kim in that 8. I mean, yeah, she just, for me, she doesn't settle into this match at all. She looks nervous. You can see, hopefully we'll see a replay of her coming into full draw and sort of wrapping her thumb around the trigger, and she just looks all a bit kind of trembly to me, you know. She's not settled at all. This is a big event, like we said, but this is a great archer in her own right, a world champion, but that was back in 2015, and since then she hasn't done too much. She won the stage in her home soil, and Sarah's going to have the support of this crowd in Mexico. They really support each other, Colombia and Mexico, and get behind these archers, so what an event to be in.
Well, whilst you were focused on Kim Yun-hee, in that first shot, we saw Sarah Lopez in the background closing her eyes and taking a big, deep breath as Kim Yun-hee was preparing to shoot. Really trying to control the heart rate, control her nerves. But leading here, she will be comfortable in the knowledge that Kim Yun-hee is shooting first, which means she's behind by 2 points.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, very quick arrow. Really, that centre, we've got a little X in the middle there, we call a little spider. She's on this.
9.
Interestingly, Sarah's shooting that thumb trigger again, okay? When she shot that world record, that was on a back tension. She'd switched to a back tension in that bronze medal match after losing to Ella in the semi-final. So that's interesting as well.
9. Yes, yes, yes.
So perfect for Sarah Lopez. Build her confidence even more. 4-point lead is built up. So talk to me, Nikki. Tell me, why would you change from a trigger to, or from a back release to a trigger and back again? Why would you do that?
It's an interesting one.
Would it not mess with your entire process?
Well, it kind of does, but it can interrupt it in a good way. So she went to that semi-final in Colombia, lost to Ella on her trigger, and then said, hey, I'm just going to pull out this back tension and shoot this instead. And then it's just a different process of it going off. And sometimes it being a bit more unusual is helpful because they just go and it just breaks and it's great shots. But it's really interesting that she hasn't stuck with that. She's gone back to her trigger again. But she's on form here. You know, it's gonna be great to see this all the way through. I'm so excited about this. I really think we're going to see this final, and
yes,
can't wait.
The final that everyone's waiting for. But Kim Yun-hee struggling in all types of trouble here. 4 points down going into the fourth and penultimate set. It will be the Korean to shoot first.
Yes.
Very quick shot. We're used to these. Puts the time pressure on the Korean. Only 20 seconds to make this shot.
Yes. Yes.
So another 29. Will it be a third 30? Yes, it will. And looking incredibly strong. Just dropping a single point over the first 12 arrows. Again, it's a case of Kim Yun-hee just, it's not quite right. It's not, yes, nervous at the beginning, of course, but it's like there's almost like a little extra movement, especially with that last arrow in that last end.
Yeah, it's just a case of not settling into this match properly, not letting yourself just get in that comfortable zone that you can do so easily in practice. But hey, there's a massive crowd here, a lot at stake, and it's hard to get into your normal process. And yeah, you can do some breathing exercises, try and calm the heart rate, but sometimes there's only so much you can do.
Yes, and it certainly would seem that way here, that Kim Yun-hee just didn't quite settle into the match fast enough. And that has opened things up for Sara Lopez. It could have been so different, though. This was a tough matchup for Lopez.
Yeah, I think it really could have been. I think Kim Yun-hee is the only other archer in this competition who's a former world champion, so it was a pretty tough draw.
That'll be the Korean who starts the last end.
Yes.
5-point deficit at the start. It's a big ask.
9. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Sara didn't really react at all to that first shot that went into the 9. She just kind of moved her sight. I think she was pretty happy with it. Just needed to make an adjustment.
You can see the movement.
Yes. Yes.
Does finish with a 30, her first of the match, for a 138. But as you can see, 144, I should say. 138 is what Sara Lopez started with, finishes with a 148. So a 4-point swing for her. And Lopez she came in looking confident, and she delivered here, dropping just 2 points throughout the entire match. And she's through to the semi-finals.
148 puntos para Sara Lopez. Solo 2 puntos por debajo del puntaje perfecto.
So 8 becomes 4 here in Tlaxcala.
Oficial, Sara Lopez avanza a la semifinal.
Gets confirmation from the stadium announcer and a rousing applause from the 3,000 packed out crowd here in the center of the city of Tlaxcala in Mexico. Solid performance, perhaps made easier a little bit by Kim Yun-hee's below par performance and the nerves getting to her.
Yeah, it does kind of help when your opponent drops points quite early on. It just calms you a little bit, but Sara Lopez has got fire in her belly. She came out here looking really strong. I think she's going to go all the way to this final, so got a great lineup.
Well, it is what everyone's hoping for as we take a look back over that match. It was It was a great performance from her. Started so well. And just dropping that second point in the last end, she had breathing room. She does look like she is back.
Yeah, she does. I mean, like I said, she didn't look bothered at all by that 9. It was just went slightly right. She made an adjustment to her sight. It wasn't like a big deal where something had even gone wrong in the shot necessarily. Maybe the wind conditions look pretty good down here, don't they? There doesn't seem to be too much disruption to arrow flight or anything like that. But she's just chilled. She's ready for this.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the field of play where World Archery Secretary General Tom Dillon will be presenting the award for 2022 Judge of the Year. World Archery 2022 Judge of the Year is awarded to Mexico's Cesar Araujo. Please show your appreciation for César. Un gran aplauso al juez del año 2022, César Araujo. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the coaches and judge to the field of play.
Time now for the semi-finals here in Tlaxcala at the Hyundai Archery World Cup Finals. Coming through the top of the draw, Ella Gibson of Great Britain goes up against Alejandra Usquiano of Colombia. At the bottom of the draw, the host nation place, Andrea Becerra takes on Colombia's Sara Lopez. So 2 Colombians left in the field, both in the different halves of the draw, so could face each other. But the story today is all about the rivalry that's been building between this woman here, Ella Gibson, who's taking on Colombia's Usquiano. Gibson and Lopez, the other Colombian, who built this rivalry through the season.
On target number 1, representing Great Britain, Ella Gibson. On target number 2, representing Colombia, Alejandra Usquiano. The line judge for this match is Hussein Nasiri.
So the seeded athletes for this compound women's event, Ella Gibson and Sara Lopez, split across top and bottom of the draw. But it's Lopez's teammate, Alejandra Usquiano, who takes on Gibson, and Usquiano looked very strong. This is a big one, isn't it, Nikki?
Absolutely huge. This is definitely the hardest semi-final right here. This is going to be such a match.
Gibson of Great Britain to get the semi-final underway.
Yes.
Quite a big 9. Not quite sure why. Maybe it just came off the pressures in the bow slightly.
Yes.
So provisional 28 for Gibson. Is it going to be a perfect start for Usquiano? It is indeed. A great start from the Colombian to put the cat amongst the pigeons. Ella Gibson, one clear 9. That first arrow, though, looked like it might be cutting the line. Could get marked up to a 10.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait for the judge to call that. But the group was generally low. We can see it now. So, you know, that is just about, I think, a 10-size group. She just needs to move it slightly and get them into the centre there. But, yeah, whether she just, you know, when you're up full draw, pushing and pulling, getting those pressures right, whether she's just a little bit soft maybe and just want to go low, not quite sure. But Usquiano looking really, really solid.
There's a little bit of movement at the end of full draw just before she releases. It's like she controls that though when she's. It's consistent.
Yeah, I mean, it's not possible to hold the bow dead still, and a little bit of movement is okay. Just sticking to your process, and the shots, the execution Usquiano's got is just excellent. So she's got so much experience behind her. You know, she won this 9 years ago. It's incredible to think, you know, how much experience she's got. Ella really is the new kid on the block. Burst through this season, but this is a real matchup.
Well, it does indeed look like Gibson got marked up to a 29. So because of Usquiano's perfect 30, it will be the British archer to shoot first in the second end.
Yes.
Solid.
Yes.
We just saw a shot down the range. There's a bit of a difference between these targets now as they look down the range. Target 1, where Gibson is in the shade. Usquiano's target 2 is still in the bright sunshine. Just looks a little bit different.
Yes. Nueve.
This could be a big 10 if she can get it in the middle of the target. She can. And that is a perfect score again from Usquiano. She is looking very strong. This rivalry that's been building between Gibson and Lopez throughout the season, isn't it interesting that it's another Colombian that has a chance to stop Gibson in her tracks?
Yeah, it is really interesting. I think Usquiano and Lopez are really great teammates as well. You know, they've done a lot on the circuit as a team. They've taken medals together, and I think there'll be some really good vibes in their camp. And it's almost like Usquiano's been sent out to, you know, go and fight Ella first. And all Ella's arrows, I say, were low before. Now they've gone high. She's just not quite getting the best out of her groupings.
She looks like she's taking it in her stride, but she's got a very good mask, hasn't she? She can hide those emotions very well. She's very confident in front of the media. She doesn't want to show too much to her opponent. Trailing by 2 points now. It will be Gibson to shoot first in the third. And all she can do now is just put down big scores to put pressure on Usquiano.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Drop low again. Looks solid. Technique's great. Execution looks good.
Yes.
Usquiano just looks even better.
perfect score for the first time in the match from Ella Gibson.
Puntaje perfecto.
Quarter perfect. So that's 3 in a row. Now, Usquiano did this in her quarterfinal against Tanya Gellenthien. Got to the 4th set, not dropping a single point, and then dropped 1 point in each of the 4th and 5th sets. It was enough to go through that match, but different prospect up against Ella Gibson. She's dropped 2 nines herself so far in the match, which puts her 2 behind, but she looks like she's dialed into the centre.
Yeah, I mean, Usquiano was 6 points ahead, I think, of Gellenthien at that point. I think sometimes when you're that far ahead, you almost lose your concentration a little bit because the other opponent's not shot so well, but there's not room for that here. I think Usquiano's dialed in. I think she's looking really solid. She could go all the way in 150 this quite easily, and there'd be nothing Ella can do about it, but yeah.
It's the game, isn't it? She, like you say, she looks really solid.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like she's going to drop points. And it's a very good point that you make, that she was so far ahead against Gellenthien at this stage that, if you like, the pressure was off. Up against Gibson, it's a different thing completely. And, well, we thought that arrow at the end for Usquiano in the 3rd was a 9, and it has been marked down. So it's actually only 1 point the difference now.
Yes.
And Gibson starts the 4th with a 10. I wonder if we're going to start seeing Usquiano feel the pressure here.
Yeah, that really does actually change things. Now, I don't know how aware Usquiano would have been. I think they would have seen the score boards update as they were standing there waiting for their arrows, but the sunlight was so difficult to see that last arrow, we weren't quite sure.
Yes.
There's a bit of anger in the face of Ella Gibson.
This is an attacking sport. You have got to attack it, but attack it without too much emotion. If you get angry, sometimes it's just too much. It's being really assertive and yeah, executing well.
Yes. Yes. Puntaje perfecto.
So another perfect from Gibson for a 118. And that's called a 9. Very difficult for us to see, but a 29, 2 29s in a row for a 118. If that stays as it is, Nikki, we're set up for a thrilling last 6 arrows.
That is crazy. Neither of these arrows I don't think have been far out at all, have they? It's been really tricky to see with the sunlight on that target face, but I think they've just been out by a whisker if this one is as well. Which could bring us up for a tie going into this last. Oh, that's actually quite far out, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, deceiving from the angle we saw it, because it was it was pointing, the arrow was pointing down.
Yeah, a bit
tail down.
Yeah.
Oh, get a look back over Gibson's arrows. The grouping finally closer and all inside the 10. And that sets us up potentially for a thrilling last end. And it has been confirmed. The 2 athletes are on 118 points each. Gibson to shoot first in the 5th. In some ways, there's a bit of an advantage there if she can hit the 10s.
Yes.
Starts with 1.
The momentum here is with Ella. She's the last few ends now. She's really been determined.
Yes.
Oh, that looks like it may well be out. It's gone for a measure. Opportunity here for Usquiano. Oh, she's gone into the 9 as well. The nerves have hit the pair of them. 1 arrow left.
Yes.
Back into the 10. for a 29 and a 147. Oh, it's going to be a nervy measure if Usquiano hits a 10 herself.
Yes.
She does. So the pair of them finish on a 147. It's a definite 147 for Usquiano, who gives the biggest of high fives to her coach. She's convinced that Gibson's 9 will remain a 9. Nikki, are you?
It's close, but oh my goodness, that's not the best angle for us.
It's not the best angle, but it does look there's provisionally clear space between it. Oh no, now you see it from the other side. It's coming in at an angle. Ref's call. It's been marked up for Ella Gibson, and that means she gets advanced to a 148, and look what it means to her. What a great match that was.
My goodness me, that was an absolute nail biter. I just can't believe what happened there, and the turnaround, and it's go down to a line cutter, just millimetres in it.
Well, there is confirmation from the stadium announcer that it is Ella Gibson through to the finals, but what a match and what a performance from Alejandra Usquiano from Colombia. She made Gibson work so hard for that. Well, super stuff from the pair of them. We will, of course, see Usquiano in the bronze medal match. Losing semi-finalists will compete for a bronze medal. Take us through this, Nikki. What a matchup it was.
It really was. I think Ella just took a little bit longer just to get into the match. She had those 9s, slightly low the group, slightly high the group. Usquiano looked so in control from the beginning, such brilliant shooting from her, and then the tiny 9 just out of the 10 on that 4th, and then bigger 9 in the 5th as well, and it was just enough for Ella to take it with that line cutter. And a bit of steerage, I think, by the looks of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the coaches and judges to the field of play.
Well, no time for us to rest on our laurels. Semi-final number 2 in the compound women's event is upon us. It's an all-America's affair as Andrea Becerra from Mexico, who qualified through a host nation spot, takes on Sara Lopez. Are we going to get the final we're looking for? One half complete with Gibson through. This is the second one. Semi-final number 2. Athletes out, so let's go down to the field of play for their introductions.
On target number 1, representing Mexico, Andrea Becerra. On target number 2, representing Colombia, Sara Lopez. The line judge for this match is Hussein Nasiri.
So here we go. Becerra beat Jaatma to make this semi-final. Lopez beat Kim from Korea. You got to fancy Lopez for this one.
I think so. She's the favourite here, isn't she? World number 2, one of the best archers over the last 10 years. Becerra is much younger, much more inexperienced, showed more nerves in her quarterfinal. So I think this is the easier of these 2 semi-finals.
So semi-final number 2, Becerra of Mexico on the near side, up against Lopez from Colombia, who will shoot first.
Yes.
Big bit of Boquando there, she knew immediately that just wasn't in the right place. Maybe there's a little bit of wind coming to the venue, I think. Might have just blown her off a little bit. Tried to make the adjustment, but not enough.
Yes. Yes. Yes, 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 puntaje perfecto.
Well, she looked so solid in her quarterfinal, and that has carried through to the final here.
Yes.
Single point dropped for the Mexican. It's a good start from her, but she's behind by 1. But Vicky, it's the calmness and the execution from the Colombian Sara Lopez that there's no doubt she is back to her absolute best.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we expect of her. You know, why would we expect anything less? She's been up there for 10 years. She's won this thing like 6 times. This is within her comfort zone, really. And I just think, you know, she's probably got the advantage here mentally over Becerra, who's, like I said before, much more inexperienced. I think Sara will be very focused on her own shooting right now and just go out there determined.
Just go out there determined, just like that. Becerra looking a little anxious, nervy on her first arrow, but 29 from her, not bad. Still in the game.
Yeah, still in the game. I mean, dropping a point at this level, I think the best sort of passes we've had over the quarterfinals and semi-finals so far is like a 148 is a good score.
We start the second end, and it will be Becerra from Mexico to get us underway.
Down that range now. See again the shadowing. It's just starting to come onto Sara's target as well. It can be quite interesting because it's quite reflective of the sun as well, and it just changes your image a little bit.
Yes. Nueve.
So another 29 from Becerra. The 9 that Lopez just scored didn't knock her off her stride at all. At all.
Yes.
She's just popped it back into the 10 for another 29 or 29 of her own, maintaining the 1-point lead. But that is the thing for me about Lopez now. You mentioned it earlier on, I think, in the quarterfinals, that she just didn't waver from when she shot a 9. No reaction at all.
Yeah, and that's the way to be. Like, that's that mental control. That's where she's so experienced, because it can be easy to react really badly if you have a 9 or a bad arrow, because we're expecting these archers at compound level at 50 metres to be shooting 10s every time. But if you can just let it go, it's gone. Doesn't matter, right? Get back into the game. It doesn't hurt you so bad. You just stick with what you're normally doing. But if you make a big deal about it, when Becerra's struggling a little bit with this because she's just lacking a bit of confidence in her shots now at this high pressure event, it hurts you a bit more. It just lessens your confidence in what you're doing right now.
So Becerra up to the line first for the third end, and had to wait for the Colombian. It will be Becerra, who's showing a great deal of grit here in Tlaxcala on home soil, to shoot first in the third.
Yes. 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 Yes.
These fast shots from Sara. We've known those quite often. That's when she's shooting well.
Perfect from Becerra. Second perfect from Lopez. So a tight match in terms of the scoreline, and it's a gritty performance from Becerra.
Yeah, she's doing really well. She still didn't look very comfortable on those first two of that end, but the third one she did. She actually started to think, hey,
I've got a chance here against Sarah Lopez.
Well, I don't know even if she'd be thinking that, but I think she came off the line just feeling pumped and confident that, hey, I can go out there and shoot 30. That's okay, that's like me. So she's back in the game a little bit, but I can't see Lopez wavering at the moment.
No, but one more drop point, and if Becerra is dialed into the middle, we will be all square. But it would be an upset.
It would be a huge upset. But as I say, Sarah's timing of those shots just getting quicker and quicker, which I think is when she's more confident, actually. She shoots even faster. Less time at full draw.
So 1 point in it, and I have to say the crowd are being remarkably quiet given the fact that they've got their compatriot on the shooting line. Very respectful of Sarah Lopez, clearly. Well, commentator's curse, clearly. Pulling that one into the 9. Just more of an opportunity for the athlete who arguably is the greatest female archer of all time. Uh-oh. Pressure getting to her a little bit by the looks of things.
Yes. Yes.
28 for a 116. 119 possible for Lopez.
Yes.
And that is exactly what it is now. Just one dropped point, so there's no world record up for grabs here. But this could be the biggest score we've had so far.
Yep, I think it could. I think the best so far, as I say, has been 148, which has been pretty consistent actually through most matches. Has been one with a 148 so far. No one's shot higher than that yet.
So 2 9s to start things off for Becerra, and that was the third of her 9s, and there's the 4th.
She got lucky this last shot. The longer she was there at full draw, the more she was shaking, and it just happened to go off in the 10, that one. But maybe that last end where she came off so confident, it boosted her belief, and then we're back to, oh my goodness, I could win this.
Yes.
And shook her again.
The Gremlins approach. 3 points in it, going into the final end. It will be the Mexican to shoot first here in Tlaxcala. She's looking for big scores from herself, and then for an error, you have to say, from Sarah Lopez.
Yes. Nueve. Yes.
Lopez kind of stared at that 9 quite hard, as if to say, come on.
Yes.
Gets it back into the middle. Can Becerra finish with a perfect?
Yes.
She
Yes.
does.
Yes. Puntaje perfecto.
And gets onto 146, 148 available, so 9 or more for a place in the dream final.
Yes.
And it's in the 10 for a 29 and a 148, and it is Sarah Lopez of Colombia. It wasn't perhaps as comfortable or confident looking performance as it was in the quarterfinals from her, but still very, very strong.
I think Sarah's looking really pretty comfortable actually. I think she's back on her normal form. Okay, we've had a couple of 9s each match from her, but she's dealt with them well. She's not reacted. I think she's in a good place mentally. Best she can be right now going into this final.
Oficial, Sara Lopez avanza a la final. Un aplauso para Sara Lopez y un aplauso
So
para
confirmation
Andrea
in the
Becerra.
stadium that Sara Lopez is through to the gold medal match here in Tlaxcala, the first gold medal match of 4 over this weekend of the Hyundai Archery World Cup Finals. The losing athletes in the semi-finals will be next up here in Tlaxcala for the bronze medal playoff. So we take a look back over that semi-final between Becerra and Sara Lopez, Mexico versus Colombia. Nikki, it was a really confident performance from Lopez in the quarterfinals. Still confident looking, but perhaps not. There were the look at that 9 with anger, with a bit of disgust in the last end, for example.
I think she just sort of death stared at it a little bit. You know, it wasn't. She's not over emotional. She's handling it really well. If there's a little mistake, but there was a definite, look at it as to say, I'm going to sort that out, which I think is just exactly the right way to be. You saw the arrow marks on the tight there. She had one high right, one low left, so it wasn't the same mistake perhaps that she made, but she's ready for this final right now.
Well, before we get to that final, we have the bronze medal playoff, 2 losing semi-finalists facing each other. They'll be coming up very soon. Coming up, Alejandra Usquiano from Colombia takes on Andrea Becerra from Mexico for the bronze medal at the Hyundai Archery World Cup Finals.
Se sienta la energía aquí en Tlaxcala. A ver, los quiero escuchar. A ver que se sienta. Que a continuación viene una mexicana, Andrea Becerra, que se sienta la energía. Partido entre Alejandra Usquiano de Colombia y Andrea Becerra de México. En partidos anteriores de cuartos de final, Andrea Becerra venció a Jaatma de Estonia. Alejandra Usquiano venció a Gellenthien de Dinamarca. Posteriormente, Andrea Becerra quedó atrás en el partido ante Sara Lopez de Colombia y Alejandra Usquiano quedó atrás ante el partido de Gibson de Gran Bretaña. A continuación, en unos minutos disfrutaremos de este match. and gentlemen, please welcome the coaches and judges to the field of play.
So time now for the bronze medal playoff. The two losing semi-finalists going up against each other here. Gibson going through the top, so Usquiano goes into the bronze medal match, and she's joined by Andrea Becerra from Mexico, who lost out to Sara Lopez. Ella Gibson, Sara Lopez gold medal match coming up, but right now it's Usquiano versus Becerra.
And now, please welcome the athletes to the field of play for the Compound Women's Bronze Medal match.
Time for the bronze medal match here in Tlaxcala for the compound women. Let's go down to the shooting line for the athlete introductions.
On target number 1, representing Colombia, Alejandra Usquiano. On target number 2, representing Mexico, Andrea Becerra. The line judge for this match is Hussein Nasiri.
So it is Alejandra Usquiano from Colombia, who looked incredibly strong through their quarterfinals and semi-finals, just being pipped by Gibson in that semi-final, going up against a gritty and determined Mexican in Andrea Becerra, who got here through a host nation place. Usquiano to get us underway.
Yes.
Quite a long hold on that first arrow, just settling in.
Nueve.
And again, as that went off, Becerra knew it was going to go off the outside of the 10. Basically, she tried to make the movement to bring it back in.
Nueve. Nueve posible 10. Nueve.
Curious grouping there for Usquiano.
Yes.
Well, bronze medal playoffs are interesting ones. Arguably the hardest match in world sport, because you've lost the semi-finals, and if you lose this match, which is probably what a lot of the athletes go in thinking, is you're not going to get a medal, you're not going to get a bit of shiny metal around your neck. But whilst it is the most difficult, arguably the most difficult, it is the most important, because if you win it, you're on the podium.
Yeah, it's a big difference, isn't it? Like, if you're not on the podium, if you're not on that photo at the end of this competition, you weren't really there.
Yeah.
So, you know, you won't be remembered at all. So yeah, it's a tough one. I'm surprised by Becerra has been, you know, a bit up and down with her shots. We kind of expected
On the brink
that.
of disaster.
As you like to put it. Whereas Usquiano, I thought she'd be solid right in here, and 2 out to the right. So let's see if they settle down.
All square after the first 3 arrows from the pair of them. There will be Usquiano to shoot first at the start of the second.
Yes. Nueve.
I do feel for her. She's not in the place that she wants to be.
Yes. Nueve.
looking back to the coach for some support, some words of encouragement. Coach trying to talk her through these shots.
10, 10, 10, puntaje perfecto.
So perfect from Usquiano for a 58. 56, all that's possible here, and just clipped the line for that 56. 2 28s from Becerra. We're talking about not being in the place she wants to be, but if she can arrest this immediately, she's still in with a shout in this bronze medal match.
You say that as if it's just so easy.
Following your lead.
I know, right? It's so hard. You just wish you could push a button sometimes and just reset yourself. And I guess that's a strategy which mentally you try and do, but under this immense pressure, you know, like we just talked about, to get on that step of the podium, to get a check at the end of this, to get that medal around your neck, there's a lot at stake, and it's hard to use all these strategies under this kind of pressure.
Yeah, and you saw that arrow flying left of the arm, pulling across to the right. And she just about guides that last one in, making some adjustments, but I think it's a process that Becerra is struggling with. She trails by 2 points. Usquiano on the shooting line, looking comfortable for this bronze medal. We start the third end.
Nueve.
Usquiano just comfortably hanging on that back wall with that back tension release aid, looking more and more comfortable.
10. Nueve.
Another 10 for her. 29 this time, her highest score so far in the match. And 2-10 sandwiching the 9 for a 29 for Usquiano, maintains the 2-point lead. 87 plays 85. We can see that there's good communication between the athletes and coaches. In front of this beautiful City Hall, get a great view of the bell tower above the entrance. Usquiano is another one that can just reset and jump back from a 9 without sort of dwelling on too much.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes back to that experience. You know, she's been around so long, won this, 9 years ago, and she can build on that experience. And the best thing you can do right now is, if you have a bad shot, is just to let it go, forget it. Easy to say, difficult to do.
Yeah, second consecutive finals for Becerra, fourth finals for Usquiano. Bronze medal, fourth end here between the Mexican and the Colombian. Yeah, bit of an unusual finish to that.
That was a bit of slight Bokondo, because she knew it was going to go off, and a reaction just to try and bring it back in, so it made it look a bit of an odd follow through.
Opportunity. Oh dear, that you could see on her face was not going to work, and I wonder if the Bokondo pulled that in from a lower score, but a 7 at this level is a big problem.
like I say, she's just not in a nice mental place now. She's lost the confidence in her shot. She's just got to try and stick with it as much as she can.
Yeah, she'll want out of here, Becerra. Usquiano has one hand on the bronze medal. 3 points clear going into the final end. It's a big mountain for the Mexican to climb. But over the quarterfinals, semi-finals and finals, the performance from Usquiano has been enough to take at least the bronze medal here.
Yeah, she's been the better archer of these two overall, isn't she, through those rounds, and I think she'll continue to do so. Like, 3 points isn't impossible. It only takes Usquiano to shoot 3 9s, and if Becerra can keep all hers in the 10, she could push for a shoot off, but it's unlikely, especially in these conditions, which are pretty good. Not much wind at all to speak of.
Yeah, she's in a difficult place, as you say, because even the stadium announcer trying to get the crowd behind her, which they did, a big cheer, and she didn't react at all to that. And that was the reaction to the 7.
Just a bit soft on that back elbow, I think, before I went off.
Start of the 5th end here. Andrea Becerra from Mexico trailing by 3 points. Well, doing her job to put it in the 10. Usquiano looking solid here. Oh, it's Becerra saving her best for last. Oh, she finishes with a perfect, with the pressure is off. That's what she can do. A 142 though. Oh, and a reset here from Usquiano.
She could run out of time. She's only got 20 seconds to make this shot. Came off the rest. She had to load up again. 6 seconds.
Gets it out, and it's in the 9, a 29 to finish, and just about enough to take the medal there, a 142. But boy, my heart skipped a beat there right at the start of that last arrow. You can see the camaraderie between coach and athlete, but boy, oh boy, that she had 4 seconds left on the clock there.
Yeah, that was a little bit tight, wasn't it?
Just a little bit. But she's taken the bronze medal here, 144 to 142, and we will see Alejandra Usquiano from Colombia on the podium a little bit later on.
Cuarto lugar para Andrea Becerra de México. Un aplauso.
Tough match for Andrea Becerra, but offering her congratulations to Usquiano. Becerra, just 22 years old, has bags of time to come back here. She's made her 2nd finals appearance at that tender age of 22. Not in the best place at the moment, but I'm sure we'll see more from her. But we'll definitely see Alejandra Usquiano of Colombia on the bronze medal step of the podium a little later on. Take a look back over the match.
Yeah, Usquiano looked strong throughout, didn't she? Only a few 9s in there, but Becerra just struggled from start to finish. Not trusting her shot, losing the confidence in it. Really, when she knew it was all over, putting that perfect 30, but things could have been quite different on this last shot of Usquiano's, where she had to make a reset, and if she hadn't got that arrow off in time, that would have changed things dramatically.
So this fantastic city of Tlaxcala has really taken archery to its heart. Packed out crowd of 3,000 right in front of the City Hall, and there's a massive party atmosphere here on draw night on Thursday. The place was fantastic. And now it's time for the gold medal match, and it's the dream lineup here. Every neutral has been looking at this rivalry building over the season, and its climax is right here at the Hyundai Archery World Cup Final.
And now, please welcome the athletes to the field of play for the Campen Women's Gold Medal match.
Gold medal match time here in Tlaxcala. And it's the rivalry that's built over the whole season about to unfold here in Mexico.
Target number 1, representing Great Britain, Ella Gibson. Target number 2, representing Colombia, Sara Lopez. Lineman for this match is Hussein Nasiri.
So what a matchup we have here. The world number 1, Ella Gibson of Great Britain, going up against the world number 2, Sara Lopez from Colombia. Sara Lopez has been top of her game for the last 10 years and is a 6 times Hyundai Archery World Cup final champion. It was a breakthrough season for Ella Gibson from Great Britain, winning 3 stages. The only 3 stages she went to in Antalya, Paris and Medellin. No wins for Lopez this season, but a fantastic world record in Medellin, a 150 with 11 X's. This is the matchup that everyone wanted, Gibson versus Lopez for the gold medal at the Hyundai Archery World Cup final.
Yes. Yes.
Well, that's just the start that we wanted.
They are both on their best here. I'm so excited for this.
9.
Ah, both shooting 9s. Was that my commentator's guess?
Yes.
So 29 start for Gibson. A smile on the face.
Yes.
And matched by Lopez. So no world records up for grabs here. They both drop points.
Both reacted with a smile and a laugh as well.
Well, these two have faced each other twice this season. And it's 2-0 for Ella Gibson. Here at the World Games, Gibson taking the gold medal with a perfect 30 and a 148-142 win against Lopez. And then they faced each other in Medellin. And look at that, a 148 against a 146. So this season, these two amazing rivals have gone up against each other twice before. Gibson 2-0. And here is the 3rd meeting between them, and there's nothing to separate them here in Tlaxcala at the Hyundai Archery World Cup final. 29s on the board as we go into the 2nd end.
Just out, can't see too much wrong with that. And they're making an adjustment. Tiny little bit of wind, bit of movement from Lopez.
far. I wonder if this is going to be the turnaround. You look at the experience at this competition, 8th final for Lopez. This is the debut for Ella Gibson.
9.
And 3 9s ain't going to cut it against Sara Lopez.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Sara Lopez finishing with a perfect to go 3 points clear after 2.
Not sure what's going to be going through Ella's mind right now, but obviously she's just lost a little bit of her confidence with these shots going in different directions, really. Got a coach there, Simon Scott, behind her. Got to talk this through, work out what is going on, but I imagine it's the amount of nerves that are on her right now. First World Cup, first big season for her on this senior circuit, and done amazingly well. But Lopez absolutely on form, right at the right time.
Do you think that is nerves from Gibson? Because they were quite well spread, those 9s, weren't they? It wasn't like they were all collected in one area.
Yeah, I think it is nerves. What else could it be at this point? She's got a shot down. She knows what she's doing. But hey, this is it now. This is like the biggest event in target archery. She wants to win this so bad.
6 titles for Sara Lopez. She's gone up by 3 points here.
Yes.
Gibson putting it back in the middle. Lopez in control.
I think the timer clock just hadn't been switched over, so Ella shot hadn't been switched over to Lopez. So she's just waiting for that timer clock, which is important, but has it just pushed her off her stride and timing a little bit there?
She didn't look like she was too bothered by it. She saw that the clock hadn't started, but the score suggests that perhaps she was rattled.
We talk a lot about the timing. Now she's had an arrow fall off the rest. There's so much going on in this match. A reset from her.
Yes.
Back into the 10. I wonder if the wind has just picked up a little bit here. Hearing it on the mics, of course. So perfect for Gibson. A good response after a 27 to shoot a 30.
Yes.
29 from Lopez. So Gibson's closed the gap by a single point. If she can do that in the next 2 ends, we're going to have your favourite thing. What a Titanic end that would be to the match, wouldn't it?
It really would be, yeah. If it went to a single hour shoot-off, that would just about sum up the season, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's been a sporting rivalry that's been in the making this season. There is the reset from Sara Lopez, able to get back at full draw pretty quickly. And recovering with a 10. But this rivalry has been building and building throughout the season. Lopez talked earlier on this season about suffering with a little bit of mental health issues and struggling on the shooting line. But she showed us that she was making her way back at the World Games in Alabama in the USA, and then shooting a world record at the last stage in Medellin.
Yes.
Gibson starting end number 4, and for the first time perhaps this season finding herself behind against Lopez.
Yes.
These fast shots from Lopez. This is what happens when she's on form. She pushes the match, she pushes the timing back to her opponent. She's taking control.
Yes.
Gibson doing what she has to, as putting it into the middle, a little exhale there to calm down as well.
Yes.
But Lopez is looking at this and thinking, I'm in with a massive chance of claiming a record-making 7th world title. Just about clipping to the line, I should say, although we think that may go for a measure. Provisionally marked as a 115 for her, but it's a 118 for Lopez. Back on perfect form with a 30. We talked about the pressure that Lopez is putting on Ella Gibson. Gibson seems to be handling it though.
Yeah, she does. You know, she's sticking to her shot routine. Ella's a bit of a, perhaps a slower shooter anyway. I talked about how like Lopez is really speeding things up, but maybe Ella's just trying to actually slow things down and take Lopez out of her rhythm. And it was funny when the timing went wrong at the end before, where actually then Lopez shot that 9. So maybe that's a bit of a tactic potentially that could be used against her, but she looks unstoppable at the moment.
She does indeed look unstoppable. The measures happened and Gibson has been marked for 310, so it did get marked up from the 9 to the 10. So 116 plays 118. Gibson will shoot first, but the form that Lopez is in means that Gibson has to have 310s here to give herself any kind of chance. There's the first one. Taking that deep exhale as well after shooting the arrow, just to keep her heart rate down. At Lopez into the 10.
Much longer holds from Ella. Difference in the speed between these two archers. Another quick shot from Lopez, straight back at you. Not much recovery time for Ella between shots.
So Gibson has to put a 10 down here and hope for a big error from Lopez. She jets it into the 10 for another 30 and a 146, but she walks away from that shooting line. No, this is probably done. A 9 will do it. A 10 will be even better. And Sara Lopez from Colombia, after a tricky start to the season, has fully recovered, and in this season she has taken a world record in Medellin and then come to her 8th Hyundai Archery World Cup finals and taken her 7th Hyundai Archery World title. Sara Lopez, you are a superstar.
Oficial, Sara Lopez es 7 veces campeona de la final de las Copas del Mundo.
Well, look at the emotion, the outpouring of emotion from Sara Lopez. She's been picked at #1 seed by Ella Gibson this season. Ella Gibson taking 3 stage titles, but the big one goes to the most successful archer of all time. Sara Lopez from Colombia is a 7 times Hyundai Archery World Cup final champion.
Absolutely incredible. You know, she is one of the greatest archers of all time. Amazing shooting from her.
Well, what a performance. Take a look back over the match. Just a couple of 9s dropped from Lopez for that 148, the first one in the first end.
Yeah, it was a little bit unsettling, wasn't it, the first end? They both dropped a point each, but then Gibson went on to drop 3 in the second, and that really gave the space for Lopez just to keep that determination going all the way through to 148, the golden score of this session so far, and take this win.
And that's what it means. 7 times Hyundai Archery World Cup champion. Sara Lopez from Colombia is back in business here in Tlaxcala. We get a look over the beautiful city here in central eastern Mexico. This town was packed out a couple of nights ago after the draw. They've really taken these finals to their hearts, and we got a view of how tight everything is here with the range packed in to the city.
Okay. ¿Español o inglés?
Chris, ¿me escuchas? Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me?
Estoy muy sucia.
Yes, I hear you.
As you can hear, we're just trying to set up for an interview
In Spanish?
with the
Español.
new champion, 7-time champion.
Yes. Yes. ¿Me ves a mí? Perfecto, ya estamos.
Looks like they weren't quite ready, but they are preparing for Sara Lopez to take some questions. It'll be very interesting to hear what she says about taking her 7th title. She won it last year, setting a new record of titles. She's now extended that, and it looks like we are just about ready to go down and see what the new champion has to say.
Sara López, lo hiciste. Ganaste tu título 7. Te veías muy concentrada, pero también yo veía que te estabas hablando a ti misma. ¿Cómo te sentiste allá afuera en esta final?
Bueno, era una sensación muy rara porque en mi mente estaba muy calmada, pero mi cuerpo estaba muy nervioso, entonces me estaba moviendo muchísimo y yo intentaba calmarme a mí misma porque en mi ejecución mental estaba muy bien, pero mi cuerpo no respondía. Ever intentaba también calmarme, distraerme de la ventaja que llevaba hasta la última flecha. La verdad no sé ni qué fue mi última flecha, solo la solté porque quería que se terminara todo. Y muy feliz porque aunque pues queríamos que la final fuera Colombia-Colombia, logramos estar en el podio ambas y ese era el objetivo de esta competencia.
Tu última flecha fue 10. Y tu puntuación increíble, te llevaste el partido desde un principio. Te empezaste ganándole a ella y así le seguiste. ¿Sentiste algo de presión de que estuvieras adelante y de que te fuera a alcanzar? Al final ella siguió tirando 10.
Sí, y no quería distraerme, quería que la ventaja me calmara, pero no al punto de aflojar. Tuve un 9 que la verdad no sé qué pasó, me desconecté completamente de lo que estaba pasando, que fue muy lejos, entonces no quería volver a eso. Quería que la ventaja me diera calma, pero no me distrajera de lo que estaba haciendo, porque sé que él es capaz de tirar 30, 30, 30 y pues esa ventaja que tenía volver a subirla, pero creo que utilicé esa ventaja bien porque me ayudó, pero no me distrajo.
Sara, y 7 títulos. De verdad que increíble, y me lo decías antes de entrar, que ya no esperabas simplemente que estar ahí, ya era tu meta, ya la habías hecho, pero ganaste. Y yo te decía, Sara, pero quieres ganar, ¿no? Ganaste 7 títulos, la mejor de la historia, sin duda alguna. ¿Qué sientes?
Mucha satisfacción porque he trabajado muy duro para llegar aquí. Han sido 10 años seguidos en los que he sacrificado mucho. Y pues esto me sigue dando a entender que los sacrificios que he hecho han valido la pena, que voy por buen camino. Y que si me enfoco en hacerlo bien y no en títulos y en medallas y en números, las cosas se me van a dar, porque cuando uno tiene esa ambición por títulos, pues se distrae. Pero mi única ambición aquí es seguir siendo feliz y disparando y representando a mi país.
Muchísimas felicidades otra vez y mucho éxito en todo lo que viene.
Muchas gracias.
Well, brilliant stuff there from Sara Lopez, 7-time Hyundai Archery World Cup champion, who's talking about her delight, obviously, in receiving the 7th title. And at a point she was talking about how she's been able to refocus as the season's gone on. A supreme performance. We said that she was back in Medellin when she got that world record. This has just confirmed that, hasn't it?
I don't think she's really been away. You know, she just hasn't been lucky enough to get those gold medals this year. You know, she's a great archer. She's a great champion. 7-time finalist champion now. It's just absolutely incredible how much she's done for the sport, how much she's done for women's archery as well. And she's an incredible competitor, and she'll be back, and she'll probably want 10 now. It's nearly there.
I think so. A 5th and a 9th, didn't go to Paris. A bronze in Medellin, like you say, not bad at all, but just not up to the very high standards she set. And it has been a remarkable season for Ella Gibson. 3 gold medals in Medellin, Paris, and Antalya. Didn't attend Guangzhou, so you know that was a pretty stunning performance from her. But when it matters at the end of the season. Lopez has taken that 7th title, a title that, well, Gibson on her debut getting a silver medal, not so bad. But talking of medals, we are about ready for the ceremony as our drone camera looks down on the beautiful range set up right in the heart of Tlaxcala. Victory ceremony for the compound women's event here on compound Saturday in Mexico.
Trophy, watch, and checks will be presented by Tlaxcala Governor Lorena Cuellar Cisneros. Gifts will be presented by Mexican Minister of Sports, Ana Gabriela Guevara. Bronze medal representing Colombia, Alejandra Usquiano.
So the bronze medal goes to Colombia's Alejandra Usquiano. She competed so strongly throughout the tournament, losing out in the semi-finals to Ella Gibson. Beautiful gift given by the host nation of Mexico. Walking stick. Check for 7,000 Swiss francs. Not a bad day's work.
Silver medal representing Great Britain, Ella Gibson.
It's been a cracking season for Ella Gibson. I'm sure she'll be disappointed by her performance, especially in the second end of the gold medal match. But when she looks back over this season, she's openly admitted that winning wasn't necessarily in her plan this season. She's taken 3 stage wins and taken the silver medal at the finals. Medals presented, as you can see, in the little purse. I wonder how she's going to get that back in hand luggage.
Gold medal representing Colombia, Sara Lopez.
Well, at her 8th finals, Sara Lopez collects her 7th Hyundai Archery World Cup Champions medal, and the winner gets a watch from a new provider, Timio. A watch, a medal, and that magnificent trophy. She's got a few of those. How's she going to carry this all? So that watch is worth a few bob, and she also gets a rather nice cheque for 28,000 Swiss francs. But I think it's that trophy in her right hand that means the most to her, her 7th title.
Ladies and
And we
gentlemen,
get to celebrate
please stand for
with
the
the Colombian
of
national anthem.
Colombia. ladies and gentlemen.
Well, we talked about that rivalry that's been building between Gibson and Lopez throughout the season. We got the final we all wanted, but it was the control of the emotions that you talked about, Nikki, from Sara Lopez that have poured out in this final.
Yeah, it really was. You know, even on the couple of bad shots she shot, I mean, I think she dropped a couple of nines on her way through here. It didn't disrupt her, did they? She just got on with it, got into her next shot like a real champion does, and she's got that experience behind her to be able to do that. And showed us just how good she is again.
So Usquiano taking the bronze, Gibson the silver, and Lopez with gold. And this is how the final rankings finish up. Lopez top of the pile from Gibson. That rivalry sure to go on for a few more years. Alejandra Usquiano was definitely in the mix for the medals right from the very start. So a fantastic performance throughout. That rivalry, Nikki, it's with us for a few years, isn't it?
I really, really hope so, because it's fantastic for the sport. It's going to push them both to be even better. And I mean, like I say, Sara was really the person who pushed through and has pushed the scores up so high that they're becoming very competitive with the men, and you know, that's great to see. And I think these two will keep pushing each other and others around them even higher.
And Usquiano taking the bronze medal. She performed brilliantly throughout. A 148 in the quarterfinal against Gellenthien, and shot a 147, missed out by 1 point in the semi-finals. We take a look back over this superb competition. Ella Gibson has won 3 stages this season, came in full of confidence and started with a brilliant win over Quintero from Mexico, winning 148. Lopez, the other half of the draw, came through Kim and Becerra before tying up the match that we were all looking for, the Lopez-Gibson final. And in the end, Sara Lopez was just too good. We take a look at the host nations, Becerra, who struggled through, and the bronze medalist, Usquiano, who took out Gellenthien before losing to Gibson, but pulled herself together for the bronze medal match against Becerra, winning it 144 to 142 to earn her podium place. The hug from the coach, a very strong relationship between athlete and coach there. But we then moved to this rivalry that's been building all season. Breakthrough athlete Gibson from Great Britain taking on the most successful female archer of all time. 6 times Hyundai Archery World Cup champion, turned it into 7 here in Mexico. And look at the delight and the outpouring of emotion from Sara Lopez, the superstar from Colombia, taking her 7th title here in Mexico. Held it all together until that point, but then was overwhelmed with emotion. And there is the title winner and the new champion here in Mexico. Well, that's it from us. We will be back in just under 2 hours for the compound men's division here in Tlaxcala, Mexico. Thanks for joining us for the first session. We'll see you in an hour or so for the second.